it's Carol from Allergy Free Living. And today we're going to do a recipe called American chopped suey. Now this is one of my recipes, and I'm going to show you, like I have been, how you can substitute. Now there's only two substitutes in this, and the flour, Bob Red, 1-to-1, and the pasta, Tinkyada. They're all in the pantry. You can see them there. Now the first thing that I have to do in this is to cook the butter and melt it, okay? Now, as always, the ingredients are on the video. So I'm melting this. And it's almost melted. And they want you to use a cup of onions, which I've already chopped. You want to kind of make them minced in this dish. And the other thing are peppers, green. I'm using sweet mini peppers, so there's many different colors, as you can see. And there's a cup of that as well. And they're cut really well. I'd say more chopped into small pieces. You can see this. And I'm going to put this on high. Now, while I'm cooking this, one of the things that I want to say is that, like I said, you can always use different things. When you look in the ingredients, it calls for a lot of butter, but my motto is, if you have a recipe, I would make it the first time like the recipe says, and then if you feel that you don't like the way it turned out, then you can tweak it. This recipe here, it calls for a half a cup of butter. Now, you don't have to use it, but like I say, try it and see what you think. You could always cut it down to a quarter of a cup, and maybe you could put, if you're looking out for your fat content, maybe you could put a little, maybe the other quarter cup could be chicken bouillon in water, so, or broth. You could use that. Anything, but just try the first time the way the recipe is, unless you have to cut down the fat, then by all means go ahead. So I'm cooking this, and it says for 5 minutes. Now we've already been doing it for like 2 or 3, let's see, yeah, 3 minutes. So what I'm going to do is, on this one, and again, I'm following the recipe that you can see how easy it is to do that. So it tells me to, after I've been cooking it for 5 minutes, then you're to also put in garlic, chopped garlic. And let's just stir this around. See? Looks good. I like the different colors of the mini sweet peppers, but green are good, anything, whatever you have. Now, the next thing it tells you is to use your flour. Now, I have a half a cup of the Bob Red Mill 1-to-1. Now I'm going to lower this. It was on high, and now I'm going to lower it, because now that you've got the flour in there, it's cooking faster. says to mix this until the flour is mixed in. Now, after this, they want you to add a pound of ground beef. Now, because you're putting it in this, I'm going to kind of crumble it. And when you get it in there, you're going to crumble it because, you know, you're moving it with the spoon. And then you're going to mix it. And again, I'm going to lower this a little. Now, you just keep mixing this. And the thing about this is, it's a little unusual than most of the chop sueys that you have because of the large amount of flour. But I will tell you, it adds a really good flavor. I've had this recipe for probably, let's see, maybe 30 years. And everybody loves it. They really do. Now, you know, you could cook it in like a big skillet. I'm only cooking it in this so that you can see what's going on. Okay, it's still a little bit of it is pink. But I just like this pan because it's lower, and I like for you to see what's happening. I'm more of a visual person. And while we're doing this, I'm incorporating recipes like this one, and I'm showing you how to substitute it. And I think sometimes the only way to do that is to show you. Now I know on a lot of the cooking shows they start you off the way I did. And then they get another pan and voila, it's all mixed. But I do it with some things that I can, but this is a little more, this is the home. This is what it's really like. Not like on some of the food shows. This is the real thing. Now, on the directions, once you added the hamburger, which again you can see, it's getting there. They tell you to cook this, fry it for at least 8 to 10 minutes. I'm almost done with this. Now, they want me to add the diced tomatoes. Okay, there's 2 cups of this. See how good that looks? And the next are 8 ounces of the mushrooms. The tomatoes really add a great flavor to it. Now, the last thing that I want to incorporate into this, since I'm still stirring it, would be the salt and the pepper, a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper. And there you go. And I always kind of come from the side and lift it up in the middle. Come to the side and lift it up. And then I move what's in the middle to the back, and that just kind of makes it more uniform in cooking. Now we're just going to cook this a little bit more. Now, after this, I have the pasta, and it's already made. It was made, drained, and everything right here. Now, usually here's my pan, and here's my pasta. This is all done. Now, usually what I tell you to do is to butter or put shortening on your bowl. But I've got to say, and you know I love butter, but I have to say that I really feel that this has enough, and you don't have to add anything to this bowl, okay? I leave it like it is because you've got enough in there. Take your pasta, okay? There's the pasta right there. Now, I'm just going to loosen it. There's a big, big bowl of this. So what I'm going to do is put this over to the side and stir this one more time from the sides to the center and the center back to the sides. Turn this off. Now, the one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up and I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to pour some of this in here. And I'm going to mix it. Okay, you see that? Now there's about, let's see, about 3/4 of this bag, and I'd say it's about a pound. So there's a lot here. Now I'm going to take, this is just a little kind of thing to throw in here. Some of it's just the grated cheese. And now I'm going to throw in the rest. go. Look at that. Now this makes a lot. I mean, you could really feed a good group. Now, I say that. Now, men and women both like this, so I'd like to say that the men will eat this more, but I've seen the women do a pretty good job of it. So, you see this? See how nice this looks? Now remember, I've already put some of that Cabot lactose-free cheese. Okay, so I think we've mixed this enough. All right. So this is what it looks like. I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to put the rest of the cheese in here. There we go. You don't have to put this in. You don't. I just do. Now, this here would be, this is dinner. Now, I want you to see how good that looks. Now, typically, you would make it now and you would just put it on the table because this is warm, because the sauce was so hot. But I'm going to make this for later on. So you can just put it in the refrigerator and cook it at about 350. And I'd say for 20 minutes, always put things in a hot oven, by the way. And if you're not sure, you can see it bubbling. But if you're not sure, you can always use the thermometer that I showed you and dip it in, and you can see where it's hot. Or just put a spoon in the middle and take the pasta out. So that was today's meal. American chopped suey. And like I said, gluten-free pasta and the gluten-free flour and everything else I used in my recipe. So this way you can start to see how easy it is for you to substitute all your gluten-free foods. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you again. Thanks, bye.